Who is responsible for cleaning up after a suicide in HUD housing, a rental apartment, or a lease? Call Advanced Biotreatment 24/7 to answer all of your questions and get a cleanup crew out ASAP. 800-295-1684. Most homeowners' insurance will cover an unattended death cleanup because it is a biohazard. For HUD housing or any other rental property, the landlord's homeowner's insurance should cover the mitigation. If you've ever found yourself wondering who is responsible for cleaning up after an unattended death, you aren't alone. It's a confusing and scary scenario to think about, and there are many factors to consider. However, you shouldn't let the stress and anxiety get the better of you. There are several steps you can take to protect yourself, and you can also contact a local funeral home for more information. Are there Section 8 housing biohazard or suicide cleaning companies? If you find the body of a dead relative in your house, you will need to call a professional cleaning service to remove the decomposition odor. This can be difficult to do and requires the help of trained professionals. The decomposition process can release airborne toxins into the air, which can affect your health in the future. To safely clean this scene, you need the services of a company that specializes in bioremediation. A bioremediation team is the only safe cleaning crew. Unlike household cleaners, these professionals have the proper tools and training to properly and safely remove the decomposition odor. During the decomposition process, harmful bacteria are released. These bacteria can cause illness, including hepatitis B and C. You can clean up the odor yourself, but this is not an effective way to disinfect the decomposing body. Instead, you should use specialized equipment and medical-grade chemicals to effectively remove the biological material. In addition to decomposition odor, the unattended death scene can also contain blood-borne pathogens. Even trace amounts of this material can make the house unsafe to live in. An unattended death is a devastating situation. It can take days, weeks or months before you discover the deceased. That's why you should contact a reliable cleaning service as soon as possible. After the death, it's important to avoid spreading the biohazards to other people. If you're not sure how to go about this, you can speak to law enforcement officials or counselors. Who cleans up the mess after someone dies? When a person dies unattended in their home, it can be a difficult process. Not only does this type of death leave behind a decomposition odor, but the body can also begin to break down, allowing bacteria and blood to collect. This can lead to serious health risks. It is important to hire a company that specializes in cleaning up unattended deaths. These professionals have the right equipment and training to handle the job safely and effectively. The first step in the process of unattended death cleanup is to secure the scene. An unattended death can spread harmful pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. If the body is not disposed of properly, these pathogens can cause illness and pose a risk to the person's family. Once the scene is secured, it is time to start the cleanup process. While this may sound like a daunting task, it can be done. Professional cleaning companies use commercial-grade chemicals to disinfect and sanitize the area. They can also help with proper disposal. After the cleanup is complete, it is important to keep the area sanitized. This is because traces of biological material left behind can make your home unsafe to live in. In addition, it is not possible to sell or rent the property if there is a significant amount of biological material. Although the process can be painful, it is important to seek advice from friends and family members. You may also want to speak with a counselor. What happens after an unattended death? When you find out that a loved one has died in an unattended manner, you will most likely have a number of questions. There are a number of factors you must know to ensure you are taking the correct steps. An unattended death is a devastating event for any family. Not only is it a difficult experience to deal with, but it can also be a biological hazard. A dead body's decomposition process produces a number of infectious materials that require proper cleaning. One of the most important tasks is to contact the police. They will investigate the incident and determine what caused the death. Depending on the cause of death, they may have to send a forensic team to the scene. Does homeowners insurance cover cleaning after suicide? Most insurance companies will cover the mitigation of an unattended death because it's considered biohazardous. Unattended deaths are more common than you might think. In fact, there are roughly 600 deaths each year in the state of California alone. Many times, these incidents are left to relatives or friends. Although this is a devastating event for a family, you have to keep in mind that there is help at hand. There are companies that can provide unattended death cleanup services. These professionals are trained in the proper cleaning and disposal techniques for biohazards. A properly cleaned and disinfected scene is essential for the safety of people living in the home. This includes future occupants. Even trace amounts of biological material can make a home unsafe to live in. What to do with a mattress someone died on? If your loved one dies while sleeping on their favorite bed, you may want to consider what to do with a mattress that has been used by the dead. It is best to consult with a professional crime scene cleaning company before attempting to do it yourself. A crime scene will take time to sort through. It is also important to remember that not all mattresses are created equal. Depending on the type of material used in your loved one's mattress, you may encounter bugs, insects, and other contaminants. There are companies like Georgia Clean that can safely dispose of these hazards and ensure your loved one's body is left in a safe place. If the deceased person was on the bed, you are probably wondering how you can get rid of the bloody mattress. While you're at it, you might want to call up a local crime scene restoration company for the aforementioned small matter of disposal. They'll send out the best crews for the job. You'll be pleased you did. Of course, you might not have a dead body on your floor, but if you're looking for a clean and tidy environment, you can't beat a good old-fashioned steam clean. But you might be surprised to find out that the health hazards associated with bodily fluids can persist even after they have been removed. Who is responsible for cleaning out an apartment after a suicide or unattended death? There are a few things you should know about cleaning out an apartment after an unattended death. For one, it's not your fault. Secondly, the process is complicated and expensive. The best solution is to hire a pro. A competent cleaner will use medical-grade chemicals to remove harmful pathogens such as fungus and bacteria. The process is a must if you're looking to keep your tenants healthy. You may also want to ask a few questions about the circumstances surrounding the untimely death. If the tenant had a criminal record, a background check can be a useful tool. While you're at it, you might as well consider a rental insurance policy that covers biohazard remediation. This can be a lifesaver if you don't have the time or inclination to clean up after an untimely death. As you can see, cleaning out an apartment after an unattended mortality is no small feat. However, with the right tools and procedures, you should be able to tackle this challenge in a timely fashion. Fortunately, there are many companies that offer this type of services. After all, they have the training and expertise to get the job done. Of course, you'll have to decide if the money spent on hiring a professional is worth the headaches. Luckily, many of these companies are also happy to give free estimates. Who has legal responsibility for death cleanup? The legal responsibility of cleaning up after an unattended death can be difficult. While you should not try to clean up the area yourself, it is possible to take on the task with the help of a professional. The first step in cleanup after an unattended death is to notify people. Your family, friends, and professional associates can provide support and guidance as you deal with the situation. It is also a good idea to seek advice from counselors. Another important consideration is to make a list of funeral homes and cremation services. You may be able to get homeowners insurance to cover the cost of death scene cleanup. In addition to notifying people, you should call law enforcement. This is especially important if you live in a state that recognizes unattended deaths as a crime scene. Cleaning up after an unattended death can be costly and can pose health and safety risks. Professional cleaners can use the right equipment and supplies to remove the odor and disinfect the area. Cleaning up after an unattended die is a very emotional process. You should hire a death cleanup company that is experienced in handling biohazards. Biological material left behind can make a house unsafe to live in. Attempting to clean up the scene yourself could lead to illness. The body fluids can seep into the walls and furniture. Even household cleaning products are not strong enough to get rid of them.